Hello everyone, it is me again. Here in the classroom as always. Today we're talking about the exciting topic of integers and absolute values. Lesson 1.4. We're going to jump right into it. Here's a little warm-up for us. I know you all know this. You've learned about negative and positive numbers before, but what we have right here is we have our number line with 0 in the middle, all of our negatives down here, all of our positives up here. So if I were to start jotting them down, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so on. Down here, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. I'm just going to put negative 10 right here, or positive 10 right there. My bad. And negative 10 right here. That's going to bother me. Positive 10. Okay. You know what? Just scratch it out. Right 10. Okay. The reason I'm drawing this up here, I know you know this, is to show you a distance, not a number line. But I want to show you how far 1 away is from 0. It's 1 jump away. Negative 1 is also 1 jump away. But 10, on the other hand, is 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, so on, so on. 10 jumps away. Negative 10 is also 10 jumps away. So compared to 0, you probably think this is common sense, but it'll make more sense later. They're both 10 jumps away. 2 is 2 jumps away. 1 jump, 2 jumps. Negative 2 is 2 jumps away. They're the same distance away from 0. And that's my big thing that I want you to take out of this right now. Might not make sense to you. I know you know negative and positive numbers. Positive numbers are everything above 0. Negative numbers are everything below 0. But I want you to focus on this distance that they are away from 0. All right, next example, we're going to talk about golf scores. Putting 0 right in the middle again. So as you know in golf, maybe you don't, but you can score positive and negative. So a par is considered 0. This is par. So a lot of times on a golf course, they'll say like the par on this course is 4. So if you hit 4, you got par, which is equivalent to 0. If you hit 5, you hit 1 over par. So you would get a +1. And if you hit birdie, you'd get -1. That'd be 3 strokes if the par was 4. So that's how the point system works in golf. So if you got 6, it would be +2, 7, +3, and the same way over here. So I'm just going to make up some golf scores here. We got Kevin with -4, Sam with 3, and Abby with -1. All right, so we're going to jot these on our number line right here. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Kevin. I'm going to jot down my little points here. Try to make them about the same distance away. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3, -4. So Kevin on this chart is at -4. So here's 0. Compared to 0, he is -4 steps back. This is Kevin. I'll start him with a K. Sam got a 3. 1, 2, 3. Here's Sam with a 3. And finally, Abby with a -1 right here. Now, we can judge how well they did by how far they are from 0. So Kevin did the best because in golf you want actually a lower score. Kevin did the best because he is 4 jumps away from 0. He's down here. Sam is in the opposite direction, but is 3 jumps away. And Abby is 1 jump away. This will make more sense as we carry on, but I just want you to get this idea of jumping from 0. Okay, so now we're talking about opposites. You can write this definition down. I have a few of them for you here. We're going to start with this one. Opposites are numbers from the same distance from 0 in different directions. So this is here where that distance becomes a thing. So 0, the opposites would be, for example, -5 and 5. That might be something that's simple to you. Or -4 and 4. Or -100 and +100. The opposites are the same numbers, just with a negative and a positive. They're the same distance from 0. 4 is right here. It's 4 jumps in this direction. -4 is 4 jumps in this direction. They're the same distance from 0. They are opposites. Integers, another big word for you. Whole numbers, positive and negative. Now, a whole number, that might be confusing to you, but those are just our common numbers. So an integer is any number, positive or negative. So those are the positive integers. Then we got our negative integers as well. And then obviously 0 right in the middle. So that's pretty much all you have to know about integers. They're just the whole number. So there's no decimals for integers. And they're a lot of times what you'll see on a number line. All right, here's our big key of the day, the big takeaway, absolute value. This is where those big jumps come in. Absolute value is the distance. That's what we've been talking about. The distance from 0 a number is. It's always a positive. So for example, if we have 0 right in the middle and we're trying to figure out the distance that -2 is away, we know it's -2 down on the number line, but from 0, it is 2 integers away. So the absolute value, this is a little confusing to you, but check down here in the corner, the absolute value, to make that symbol, all you do is just 2 long lines like this. The absolute value of -2, it's talking about the distance, not about where it is. It's 2 jumps away, so the absolute value of -2 is 2. This is a simple idea, but it can be confusing why it makes sense. The absolute value of -3 is 3, because it is 3 jumps away from 0. These are going to be always positive. The absolute value is always positive. That's my big takeaway that I want you to get from this. The absolute value, always positive. The absolute value of -3 is 3. The absolute value of 3 is also going to be 3, because it's also 3 jumps away. All right, so that's what the big thing that I need you to know about absolute value is, always positive. All right, we're going to get a couple practice problems down here. All right, so we're looking at -8 to start. I know a -8, I'll make a quick little number line. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, -8. If I'm figuring out the absolute value, you might think this is simple, Mr. Aarons. It's obviously 8 because it's always just the positive version of what it is, which is true, but I want you to understand why. 8 jumps away. It is the distance of 8 integers away from 0. That's how we're figuring out the absolute value. 17 would be on the opposite end. It would be us moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 17. It's going to be 17 jumps away. Notice, -8 is a positive 8. Positive 17 is a positive 17. Absolute values, always positive. This symbol right here means absolute value. The absolute value of -10 is going to be what? Take a second to think about it. You know the rule. It's always positive. How many jumps away is -10 from 0? Well, of course, it's 10 jumps away. All right, now on to the tricky stuff, but also the last of our lesson here. Using absolute values in math problems. So right here we have 14 minus the absolute value of 9 plus 4. We got to use our PEMDAS. We got to start with those parentheses. Our parentheses here are the absolute value. They represent our parentheses. So we know 9 plus 4 is 13. And the absolute value of 13 is going to be 13 because it's already a positive integer. 13 is 13 steps away from 0. So we can simplify this to 14 minus 13, which you can figure out in your head, is 1. All right, our very last one here. 5. And then we got our absolute value, our parentheses, our PEMDAS. We got to start with that. -4. What is the absolute value of -4? Well, it has to be positive. I'll tell you that. The absolute value of -4 is 4. 4 jumps away from 0. 5 times 20, remember, if they're touching but there's no operation symbol, that means times. 5 times 4 is 20. All right, big takeaways from today. Absolute value is the always positive integer of whatever's in the brackets. If I were to give you this right here, the absolute value of 133, it's going to be 133. Not negative 133, 133. It's always positive. Other big takeaways, integers are the negative and positive whole numbers, no decimals. You'll get some practice with this today. I think you can all crush this lesson. It's a pretty basic thing, but something that's going to help us in the long run. Integers and absolute values. There it is.